friends, and welcome back to another episode of FitzRupee Cast featuring DoW2 the Elite Mod. Red-Rupee here calling the shots for you tonight as always, and we've got a great one-on-one match once again on Green Tooth Gorge. Classic map for a classic matchup. We've got on the red side Mr. Daniel leading the Space Marines with his Force Commander, his AoE buffs, and general in-your-face playstyle over here, and then the classic evil Chaos Space Marines. They're corrupt and, in this case, rather malodorous Plague Champion leading the way by Mr. Anomaly on the blue side. So we've got him probably bringing a little more kind of defensive play as opposed to the Force Commander's more aggressive in-your-face Space Marine style. And then we have standard build orders coming out. We've got scouts coming out for Daniel. We've got the Force Commander being a little aggressive here in the center of the map, going for that central VP, completely ignoring his rear resources right now, going for the aggressive play, getting both of the VPs flipped over to the red side nice and quickly. Probably going to use his scouts to back cap that power, but it looks like he's going straight into the face of the Plague Champion. He's going to have to pull back there, find a good spot to turn and open fire. Of course, the Plague Champion going to be bringing a lot more range firepower, so if he can stall out and pick his engagements well against the Force Commander, you can see the Force Commander already used his battle cry right here, so he's going to have that on cooldown for this upcoming engagement, and that's going to be a bit unfortunate. Actually, never mind, the Heretics realize they're outmatched right there, and that's probably a wise choice. He would have just bled a lot there, probably not accomplished too much. It was wise to pull out of there. Might have accidentally moved in a bit too close. Everything going, and we're going to have a big old slugging match between Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines. The faithful versus the corrupt. The stinky versus the, I don't know, angry. I guess the Force Commander's angry. I don't know why I always go for stinky for the Plague Champ. It's just the best adjective for him, I think. Scout shotgun's getting upgraded nice and quickly there, getting a nice suppression shot off of there while the Force Commander's just hacking away at Chaos Space Marines. The second squad already on the field, gonna be stalling for map time here. The Force Commander activates his battle cry, and that bonus, despite, I think he could have stuck around here and tried to stay in here with the battle cry, but with the Heretics coming back onto the field, it's not like he needs to get out here. He's been stalling great with just the Force Commander in his tags. He's got triple scouts, actually, and they're just running around capturing the back side of the field. He's already got all 3 victory points. Still never got his power, though. I think that was probably an oversight. I think first thing he should have done with that second squad of scouts is go straight for this power, but it looks like he kind of had them going around, focusing on the requisition. I guess he's going for a wreck-heavy build here. I mean, I guess he's got 3 scouts already, so that's something. And Anomaly with his double Chaos Space Marines. It'll be interesting to see what Daniel goes for, if he goes for a couple sniper scouts. Sniper's always a huge thorn in the side of the Plague Champ, who tends, with this double Chaos Space Marine build, you'll normally see him just hunker down behind cover and then use his Nurgle worship to keep these guys nice and healthy throughout the match, despite exchanging plenty of fire. So, again, if he can pick and choose these matches well and kind of lead out the Force Commander, I think he'll be in a good spot. He's definitely going to have the tech advantage, as we can already see. He's got lots of power coming in, and oh, he's going for Raptors. He's going 2 Chaos Space Marines and straight into Raptors. That's going to be a lot of meat on the field, and it might not work out if Daniel decides to go for snipers, which it doesn't look like he's doing. It looks like he's going shotguns all over the place, and I think that's probably a great idea at the moment. We're seeing their Eternal War, not Mark of War, Eternal War coming down. There's so many marks in Chaos. I always think everybody's getting marked. But the Eternal War upgrade, giving these Chaos Space Marines a bit more punch for their worth, but he's got to be careful. You really don't want to start bleeding these Space Marine or Chaos Space Marine models unless you can really make sure you can get it back out of them. That's 2 down for the Chaos player, the Space Marine. Daniel lost 1 as well. Raptors jumping all over the place, trying to mitigate any more victory point bleed. He's already down by over 100 VPs. These Heretics have kind of not really been able to do too much. They've kind of been running into engagements they can't really deal with. Probably doesn't need them right here. Might go for the Force Commander kill, but probably not going to get it. Probably didn't need to waste that Doom Blast right there, but it'll work out for him. Right now, the Heretics just need to go around and cap everything they can. Meanwhile, Anomaly's getting back out here on the field. A pair of Scout shotguns is going to make it a real nightmare for these Raptors to really get too much done. Obviously, they found the one squad that isn't equipped to deal with them at the moment. But that said, Daniel floating a lot of requisition. He wants to get that power down as soon as he can. He doesn't want to fall behind in this tech race. I'm not entirely sure what build he's going for at the moment. Oh, we see the power sword already on the Force Commander here. That's going to be great. Power melee doing that extra 30% damage against all this heavy armor on the field. The Raptors, both squads of Chaos Space Marines, and it increases the effectiveness of his battle shout by, I think, an extra 10%, which gives everything around him, I think, a total of 35% increased damage while he activates that battle cry. So if you can blob up, get these scout shotguns and these tacks blasting away at these Raptors, they're not going to be able to do anything. A lone scout escapes narrowly as this engagement sizes up here. Raptors very fortunate not to lose any models. Let's see if they can pick one on the retreat. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, though. And then everything just getting knocked back by another explosive volley from the scouts. A second one coming in, knocking more Chaos Space Marines back. He's going to have to be very careful. Plague Champion coming in here, trying to bleed scouts. I think that's really what you want to do in this situation. Don't worry about those attacks. Just blast away at all these scouts. Start trying to bleed that Space Marine as much as you can while preserving your own units. You can see Daniel finally invested plenty in power. He's got his secondary node over there on the right that we just saw, and then a full farm back home. Map is just about even up here. We can see Anomaly has a couple more requisition points at the moment, but everything's looking just about even for the time being. Anomaly's heading into Tier 2. Daniel a good deal behind because he did take so long to capture his power. The initial gambit, I think, worked out pretty well, sending his Force Commander and tack straight into the heat of battle right out of the gate, but I think he could have used his scouts on the backline a bit more effectively. So I'd be looking forward. I hope that wasn't an Overwatch mistake and he's actually planning on using those scouts. Look at this Force Commander. Man, this is why they call him the Face Commander. He just charges in there with his face, knocking everything all over the place, getting a couple kills here and there. He might actually take out this Chaos Space Marine squad if it's not careful. 8 HP. Very fortunate there, and the Force Commander also equally as fortunate to get his butt out of there. 40 HP on him as the scouts getting fully upgraded here with both their Sarges and their shotguns. Gonna become quite a force to be reckoned with if they're not kept in check. The thing with these kind of scouts builds is that you can bleed a lot if you're not careful. Ooh, these Chaos Heretics in a lot of trouble trying to take out these gens. Might be a little bit over-aggressive here if these scouts get a good retreat grenade, which I think, yes, they do have the energy to do so. They certainly can't stand up to the shotguns, and if they retreat at this point, I think they might well be out of luck. The shotguns just turning them into bits there. Oh, it's brutal. I don't think they're getting out of there. Down they go. Ooh, the last guy once again bitsed by a point-blank shotgun blast. 327 to 453 as Anomaly's sitting in Tier 2, but not really choosing to get anything out. In my opinion, if you're this far ahead, and I'm not sure, I guess he hasn't seen his enemy's power farm over here, so I guess he doesn't know how far ahead he is. But if you think you're that far ahead or have any inkling that you are, get that Blood Crusher out fast. If that Blood Crusher would have been out at this point in the game, they would have had uncontested rule of the battlefield. But for the time being, he's just trying to do a little more damage control. He's constantly struggling for those VPs. Against 3 scouts, it's really difficult to keep any sort of real map presence. And since they are upgraded, they kind of counter heretics. So even if they had the grenade launchers, I think it would kind of be tough because the scouts could just charge them, knock them all over the place. They're quick enough that they can really dodge the grenade volley. Again, the Force Commander just tying up everything he can and buying lots of time. You can see almost about a 200 victory point disparity right now between our two players. Anomaly getting that Chaos Dreadnought as Daniel heads into Tier 2. Now, the Dreadnought, of course, going to be a great Tier 2 purchase, but at this point, we'll see, Daniel will have options to deal with that. Whereas if that Blood Crusher has been around, just imagine, I'm pretty sure that would be a dead gen farm over here, if nothing else, and probably a lot greater map control. All these scouts and such would just have to run away from that thing, but such is the build order. That's what he went for, so no change in that. Now we can see these scouts just bleeding the Raptors out. You really don't want to be losing these Raptors anywhere you can help it. You definitely don't want to be playing the rope-a-dope game with scouts. Grenade goes down, pegs one more of those Raptors. That's 2 down for no loss right there. Oh no! Sweet point-blank grenade spike, and the scouts eliminate the Plague Champion. We got a Plague Cloud coming up here right in the middle of everything, just in time, conjunction with that Chaos Dreadnought. Actually, if he had followed these weakened scouts home, he may well have been able to take them out. I think he probably should have tried to finish them off, but oh, speaking of, look at this sweet Nurgle Dreadnought. He's pretty cool looking. He's all spiky and he's got that nasty Plague Marine kind of bloated belly there. I don't know what all nastiness they keep in there, but there's always some pipes and gross things happening. Ugh. Plague Marines and Plague Champion and Nurgle things in general. I don't like them, is what I'm trying to say. But Plague Champ, I have issues with the Plague Champ. He makes me grumpy. He's kind of like my Tech Marines arch nemesis, you know, the evil shooty hero. But we see Force Commander now also upgraded with the Armor of Alacrity, allowing him to sprint around and continue just staying in the face of everything that's been on the field. We can see, actually, whoa, double Devastators coming out. The old double Dev answer to the Chaos Dreadnought out here. We're going to see what he ends up upgrading with that particular Dread. No upgrades yet for the Plague Champ. Plague Champ staying vanilla, and it seems like it's been working out for him. With this many scouts, I think a vanilla Plague Champ is probably the right choice. Nothing else that he has in his arsenal will really deal with the scouts as well as his natural bolter with its DPS, its damage over time dot. I think that's probably his best option against scouts. Other than that, he's got melee weapons and a flamer. It's an unfortunate side effect for the Plague Champion is that if he does choose to upgrade his weapon, he can't go back to that default bolter, which is actually pretty sweet. Dreadnought kind of stomping around. Hasn't been terribly effective thus far, though. Oh, we see the last cannon shot. One of those Devastators is a las. Let's see what the other one is. Other one stand with the standard heavy bolter, going to be suppressing whatever it can. The Plague Champion actually still does get to fire at full speed. So, oh, he probably didn't need to retreat right there. And these Chaos Space Marines need to be singling out these scouts as the heavy weapon teams move in. That Devastator doing lots of damage. The Dreadnought kind of not getting used to its full effectiveness at the moment. I know there's that las cannon down there, so you want to be a little hesitant on pushing it in. But I think with just the lone las cannon, it's not a big deal. Wow, we have 3 Devastators on the field, actually. We got 2 sets of 3. We got 3 scouts, we got 3 devs, and a little bit of everything from Anomaly. Anomaly getting some Bloodletters, too. So between the Bloodletters and the Chaos Raptors, these setup teams going to be in a lot of trouble. Scouts get a shotgun blast off at the expense of a couple of their members. Chaos Raptors don't have the energy for another jump right now. Where are the Bloodletters? They need to get in there and offer some relief. Unfortunately, the Raptors getting pushed off. Kind of been an issue for Anomaly so far, in addition to his kind of not using some of his units to their maximum potential, is that he's never really gotten a good attack in with the brunt of his forces, really. He's kind of been all over the place, a little spread out from time to time. He has no heretics on the field, and the Bloodletters kind of just hanging around. They jumped in there on their own. Wasn't quite enough to do too much. Anomaly needs to get some heretics out here to patch up this Chaos Dreadnought. And Daniel is heading into Tier 3. Didn't go for any Tier 2 purchases. That's actually very surprising. I mean, he got the las cannon, but that's on a Tier 1 squad. No Razorback, no Librarian. And with this many devs, a Librarian would be excellent. If he casts Veil of Time on that las cannon, that could really single out this Chaos Dreadnought. Meanwhile, the Space Marines over here, of the Chaos variety, worshipping Tsinch, gonna be getting those nasty, nasty Inferno Bolters with some pretty crazy burst damage, if you ask me. Those things can take out a scout squad in the blink of an eye if you're not paying attention. We're kind of seeing the neutering of both of these kind of jump squads right now between all these shotguns that are on the field. Everything's kind of getting knocked around anytime they try to engage. And with both of the Devastators on the field, it's just going to make it even more difficult. And see, this is what I'm talking about. He's got the Raptors kind of going in here a little bit early. You kind of want to really get the timing of your pushes down. Luckily, those Raptors didn't take too much fire as they moved in there, managed to get that Devastator. But you see, we had a few seconds of those Chaos Space Marines getting suppressed, which probably would have been another dead squad or two. Nice grenade going down there. Ooh, good shot by the scouts. They got a nice throwing arm on them. Must have gone to baseball camp before they were scouts. But the Dreadnought pretty much unanswered, uncontested on the battlefield currently, and it looks like that's going to be a solid win for Anomaly. He got quite a few kills there in that matchup, but a nice scout grenade kind of returned the favor. Everything kind of went back there. Still no heretics on the field. There are finally some coming out here. But in the meantime, looks like Anomaly's just getting caught back up, still not getting out onto the field too well. He has managed to swing the VPs back into his favor. He's got about 100 in his favor, 285 to about 185 at this point. Dreadnought roaming around looking for a little bit of trouble, and Daniel has a Predator coming onto the field, and that's, I think, exactly what he needs. Of course, we'll probably see this Chaos Dreadnought upgrade to the mark of Siege, which homogenizing his army, lots of Siege on the battlefield. Despite being the Nurgle-themed army, that Siege stuff is pretty darn good. But that rocket launcher will really put the pressure on the Pred. I think if he manages to get a good las cannon shot, he can kind of make sure he has the advantage in any kind of vehicle confrontation. But anyways, scouts moving back into the center of the field here, checking everything out, trying to get some positions, figure out what's hanging out in the middle here. All the Devastators and heavy weapons teams setting back up and getting ready to support the forward forces here. A big shot into Heretics that does about nothing. Siege Bolters firing in on these scouts. Oh, unfortunately, it looks like he had both of those scouts selected there. Bit of a mistake. You can see both their energy bars went down and they both activated their explosive shot at the same time. You want to make sure you don't do that, because then you can get a second explosive shot later. We can see the power farm getting raised here by Anomaly's Bloodletters and Siege Chaos Space Marines. Dreadnought does in fact get the mark of Siege, while the Predator is on the far side of the map, harassing Raptors, finding themselves very much out of position between a pair of scout squads and the Space Marine Predator. Oh man, I do love tanks. Predators are my favorite. I hope he wins against... Ooh, nice grenade there. I hope he wins against that Dreadnought, but I guess I'm a bit biased. I'm a Space Marine guy. Everyone knows that. But I like tanks. Tanks are my faves. It's the only reason I play Company of Heroes is because I get to play with more tanks. Generator farm in a bit of trouble, along with Daniel at the moment. He's getting these VPs back, but he's down to about 148. As soon as Anomaly heals back up and gets back out here, I think he has a pretty formidable force to deal with what Daniel has. The only thing he really has to worry about is making sure those Devastators don't get the best of him. Daniel's sitting with lots of red, not quite enough requisition for Terminators at the moment. Look at those scouts get annihilated. Oh my gosh. Between those Siege Bolters and those Raptors, and of course the Plague Champ himself, Force Commander kind of overextending himself, trying to get some extra hits on that Chaos Dreadnought. The Power Sword does do a little bit of damage to vehicles, but not too much. Not worth charging headlong into this army over here. I think he finally realized that. He might have been focused down here with the Bloodletters, trying to keep them away from any more power and making sure that Predator doesn't get the wrong side of those Demon Swords either. They do deal power melee, not the full heavy melee anymore, so they don't eat through vehicles quite as well as they used to, but they can still certainly do some damage. You can see Predator is a little bit beat up here. I'm not sure if that's from them or still some residual damage from that first Mark of Siege volley. Raptors jumping in and everything moving forward right now. Las cannons off the field, so that Predator needs to be very careful when engaging. And it looks like we've got a call in right now. Not sure. Oh, that's going to be some Assault Terminators coming out here, really putting a little bit more pressure on the entirety of the Space Marine army. But honestly, with these two squads of Siege Marines, I think they'll be able to make pretty reasonable work of these not Chaos Terminators, these Space Marine Assault Terminators. The Raptor's going to be needing to be a bit more careful, but there is a triple cap right now, so anytime these Terminators buy is good, so long as he doesn't lose any of them. They're taking a lot of heavy fire right now, and I think that Siege Dreadnought actually does full damage to them. I think being anti-vehicle weapon, these are extra large units, so they're actually they're either very accurate or straight up 100% accurate. It looks like those rockets are going straight into them. That between the Siege Dreadnought and all of these Siege Bolters, man, shredding these poor Assault Terminators. Oh, that's 2 Terminators down. They finally teleport out of there. That's an expensive loss right there, though. Even so, they managed to stick it out. Predator getting very low and buy some time for the victory points. 5 HP, and it escapes narrowly once again. Oh, man, I thought it was going down there. Very fortunate. I think if it had backed into a rock right there, it would have exploded. I've actually had that happen. Some people don't recognize that debris, when you roll over debris or crush things, it actually does a little bit of damage to your vehicle. I had a Chimera one time escaping at about 3 HP, and it hit a rock and exploded. Or it might have been some explosive barrels. But all is quiet now in the center of the map. Scouts still doing a great job capping all around the back end. It's down to just the 2 squads. But still, 2 squads of scouts late game, level 2 each. Let's see how the Siege Marines are almost level 4. That's going to be very difficult. Anomaly calling that he's capped out. He's got quite the army. Oh, and he actually has a 2nd Dreadnought. That's what capped him out, was that 2nd Dreadnought on the field. We'll see what he goes for with this, whether that'll be another Siege Dread, or maybe he'll go for the Corn Hugbot of legend. We saw a pair of those having a lot of fun before they perished the last match against the Tyrannid forces. So we'll have to see what he goes for. I think it's better. Yeah, he's going for the Mark of Corn, so he's actually doing what I would have liked to have seen from our match last time, was diversify his Dreadnoughts, have one heavy melee guy. This thing will really put a hamper on those Assault Terminators, have another thing for them on the field to deal with. Raptors jumping in, but again, I feel like, you know, there's probably a better way to deal with that. He could have done just about, he could have sent the siege guys over there and not been taking a lot of damage on these Raptors with that Space Marine. Ooh, Predator getting in a lot of trouble again with the Force Commander and Scouts over there. I think a lot of folks tend to get a little overexcited with their jump troops, like they see a squad and they just want to jump in on it. Oh my gosh, these Chaos forces just ripping through these Assault Terminators. Got to be very careful with those Chaos Space Marines. The Terminators do escape, but it's going to cost the Corn Dread, it looks like. Predator under a lot of fire. Ooh! Looks like, oh my gosh, so close. Everything's going nuts all over the place. Predator very low, Dreadnought very low, Space Marines trying to move in. Force Commander might actually get the kill on this Dreadnought. Another, oh! Force Commander squished, thrown over the shoulder with 21 HP left on that Corn Dread. These heretics need to get to work. These Dreadnoughts are all kinds of beat up. Let's see, get the melee hit. The Scout survives a punch in the back of the head while on retreat. Very surprising there, 145 to 118. VPs haven't been moving too much. We've got both heroes down, writhing in pain right next to each other. Maybe they're just, actually, I think, no, okay. Yeah, so what's going on here? This is a little known bit in Space Marine lore, is that the Force Commander and Plague Champion actually do ab workout routine together. They're doing some crunches in the middle of this battle, trying to keep on top of their game. But we're going to let them do that and see how the rest of this battle goes. Always good to see a little camaraderie on the battlefield, even in war. You know, you got to stay fit, you got to stay trim. No Space Marine wants a big belly. I think it's actually the Plague Champ, you know, he's got that big Nurgle belly, so it kind of makes him a little self-conscious. I'm going to stop this joke before I drag it on any longer. I just like looking at these. These are exclusive models, by the way, these Dreadnoughts for the Elite mod. If you've been looking for those in retail, you're not going to find them. I forget which army this is, but all of the specific Elite mod armies do have, in parentheses, Elite next to them, so you know that that's a sweet custom skin. These Chaos Raptors going all in for that cap, a 3-0 cap, 75 to 145. Another Plague Cloud coming down over here as the Raptors retreat. They just wanted that cap. Lots of fire going down in the center. Once again, these Terminators getting shredded by those Inferno Bolters. Tactical Marines do get a decap on this side of the field. Another Frenzy Barrage going down there, doing some nice damage, leaving that dot on the field. Ooh, but the Dreadnought goes down for it. But in return, ouch, that's 2 big losses. Dread goes down, Terminators go down. 140 to 53, no one's got any VPs. One pops over to the red side. That las cannon has done its job. It needs to get the heck out of there. I'm not sure where the hug bat is. It's way in the back here. Orbital bombardment coming in, though, and catches those bloodletters. Ooh, that's exactly where you don't want to be. Right in the middle of a 3 AoE bombs. The tank driver going away. Oh, no, it's going into the orbital bombardment, and it goes down. Oh, that's tank driver, no. Oh, the crew was yelling. They were saying, stay away from the dreadnought, and the tank driver says, I see the light, and they're shouting, don't drive into the light, and that was the last they heard of each other. Oh, man. If that might well be it for poor Daniel. I think that Predator was his last vestige of hope right here. Been seeing quite a match from both sides. Pretty interesting. 85 to 53, still down to the wire. I thought Daniel was on the trajectory to the win right there, although once he lost those assault terminators and the Predator, it's looking a lot more dire for the time being. Force Commander tanking away, trying to get this cap. Man, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Down to just a pair of scouts, tactical marines, and his las cannon dev. I don't know quite what happened to the other devs. They seem to have disappeared at this stage in the game. Nice hit, actually. That strike actually knocked the Devastator Marine clear of any danger. I think they actually would have taken him out. Scouts going down here. Oh, they're not getting out of there. That's not good. They actually let the Tactical Marines get away as well, and suddenly Daniel, I think, may well be out of this game. The second squad of Scouts also escaping. But this las cannon is not going to be so fortunate. Bloodletters, level 4, really hacking away at everything this game. Really proving their worth. I was surprised to see these jump squads eventually, once Anomaly got all of his forces together and started being in his kind of maximum disruption mode between the Siege Dread and those two jump squads, causing tons of trouble, and of course, Daniel's kind of suicidal Dreadnought right there. Perhaps they thought that was some sort of tractor beam that was going to take them out of that fight, but I guess it did. 51 to 43. The triple cap is coming up for the blue team. Everything's heading out unreinforced. Daniel has tons of requisition, but I just don't think he's going to be able to do anything at this stage in the game. The last few VPs are ticking away. Daniel having a bit of an unfortunate run here. Scouts fall. The Space Marines are just standing their ground. They're not going to go down without a fight. They're going to fall until the very end. Daniel setting up his shrine, just locking everything down in the center, wants to make sure there's no chance for recovery for poor Daniel. Some Terminators finally came onto the field once again, the second squad of Assault Terminators, but the last couple of VPs ticked down, and that's going to be just about it here. Oh! Of course I say that, and the VPs go neutral, so that's okay. Looks like we get the GG right here anyways, and the game is over. Daniel concedes the match, had nothing but a squad of Terminators, and, well, I'm going to be honest, this fight wasn't looking too great for them. Those Assault Terminators do tons of damage. I'm surprised with the Assault Terminators he didn't go for the Lightning Claws. I guess he really wanted to make sure he could deal with the Dreadnoughts, which is understandable, but I think with the las cannon and the Predator, he was alright in that department, and the Lightning Claws would have shredded through once again, like all this heavy infantry. Taking power melee damage? No good news for Space Marines there, but as it is, we can kind of... Wow, look at all these scouts. Oh my goodness, they're all over the place. Anyways, what a match. That was tons of fun. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. Be sure to send your replays into redrupee20@gmail.org. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, join the Elite Mod Steam group, all that fun stuff. Same spiel I always give you. This is Red-Rupee. I'll catch you guys next time.